Crossroads, the movie starring Britney Spears from 2002, is turning 20 this year. Should it get a sequel? Well, there's buzz about one. Let's talk about it. Let's hear what you think. So the director of Crossroads, she says she would like to do a sequel to Crossroads. Well, first of all, a little backstory on Crossroads, the movie. Some of you are too young to remember when it came out in 2002. I am not. But yeah, the movie opened on February 15th, 2002 against, get this, John Q, the Denzel Washington movie, Return to Neverland, Heart's War. It's crazy to hear that many movies. I mean, that's 4 movies right there with, well, there's the Disney movie, and then there are 3 other movies with considerable leads. Opening on the same weekend. In this pandemic box office, that's just kind of unreal to think about. But yeah, it was a big weekend. Crossroads opened at number 2. It went on to gross about $37 million in the US and then about $61 million worldwide. As for critics, they didn't care for it. Now, a little context is needed about reviews though. You can't just look at the movie when looking at the reviews for Crossroads back in 2002. Crossroads opened toward the mid to end of pop's reign as far as talking about the boy bands like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, and then there were Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and all the wannabes of them. That was an era in which now we look back with somewhat nostalgia. But back then, they were the butt of everyone's jokes. So, yeah, those albums sold millions. I mean, they were huge, huge. But still, the average person could not say, oh, I like listening to that Britney song on the radio without being made fun of. If you wanted to not be cool, just say, yeah, I think that new NSYNC song sounds all right. The reason I say all that, so when Britney's movie Crossroads opened, I think a lot of critics just shut it off instantly. They didn't really give it a chance. Now, granted, they were paying attention to the fact the director, Tamron Davis, her previous films have been Billy Madison, again, a movie that has aged better than it was received back then, and then Half Baked, kind of a cult classic with Jim Breuer and Dave Chappelle. And so a lot of people looked at this Crossroads movie and they were like, oh, okay, so it's going to be a female road trip, kind of a wacky scenario of that type of humor, same type of humor as maybe Half Baked or what have you. Maybe not quite that, but just a fun flick, a fun, breezy flick. That's what people expected. And why shouldn't they? That's what the marketing made the movie look like. If you look at the poster for Crossroads, that looks like just a fun, lightweight, a female road trip movie. If you watch the trailer, you saw Britney jumping around singing, you saw them doing karaoke, you saw just NSYNC, they're singing NSYNC in the car, and the marketing made it look like it was just going to be this, I mean, again, a pop movie. Here is a pop movie with a pop star, and that's what it is, but that's not what it was. Crossroads, I watched for the first time recently, and I was surprised. I about wish I had seen it when it first came out, and then all these years later I'd seen it a second time now, so I could compare my 2 viewings, but I watched it for the first time the other day. Now, it's not a great film, but it does almost feel like a coming-of-age independent film. I can't imagine what younger audiences thought when they went to see the movie back in 2002, because the previews, as far as I can tell, did not really suggests that, okay, it's going to be dealing with issues like teenage pregnancy or weight issues, body issues. This movie deals with some heavy stuff. Now, again, that doesn't mean it's great. I don't think it deserved all the Golden Raspberry Awards it won or was nominated for, and it doesn't deserve to be nominated for Best Picture or anything like that. I'd say it's a 2 out of 4 star movie. I don't think a 30-year-old guy is going to watch it and say, that's one of the greatest movies of my lifetime. But I do think it would take a lot of people by surprise how serious this movie is in parts. Yeah, there's a scene with Britney jumping up and down on the bed, and a scene with her singing karaoke with her friends, and them doing an NSYNC song in the car. I don't know if they did those things because they were trying to appeal to the demographic, or if they were doing that to include in the commercials in the trailer. Maybe it was a mixture of both reasons. But the movie is a lot more serious than I expected. Now, here's where I'm going with all this. One thing about that movie is it does deal with an overprotective father or an overbearing father in some ways. Some people suggest that this was Britney early on showing that there was some issues going on in real life, which brings me to the question, should there be a Crossroads sequel? I'm going to say absolutely. I don't know if it'd make a whole lot of money. I think it'd probably be safer going to Paramount Plus, which brings me, let me pause right there and say, I don't understand why this movie is not on Blu-ray or streaming somewhere unless it's a rights issue tied into Britney's music. Because the song I'm Not a Girl, Not Yet a Woman does play heavily into the plot here. And that's one other issue with Crossroads, is that I do sometimes feel like it at times does feel like a long music video for that song. I think it's an okay song, I guess. I mean, I don't know if it would deserve an Oscar nom for Best Original Song or anything like that, but it does. There is a scene or two where it is like, this almost feels like a music video for that song. But some people like long music videos. So again, for some that'll be a con, for some not so much. But in a Crossroads sequel, they could explore what Britney is up to these days, what her character, I should say, is up to these days, and draw from real life inspiration. Again, Crossroads was 20 years ago. As we know from the headlines, a lot has happened in Britney's life. They could take a story, catch up with Britney and her friends, who I should mention were played by Taryn Manning and Zoe Saldana, and see what they're up to nowadays. See what Britney's character is up to these days. Heck, make it a trilogy. Okay, so we have the first chapter already out. Make a Crossroads 2. Then go ahead and start planning, hey, 20 years from now, make a Crossroads 3. Make it a trilogy. That could be really interesting to see a series kind of catch up with Britney, say, every 20 years. I think there could be something there. Who should work on the sequel? Well, Tamara Davis. I think I've been saying Taryn Davis. I meant Tamara Davis. But she has been working steadily on a lot of TV productions. So, sure, I mean, have her back. Shonda Rhimes. Believe it or not, the Shonda Rhimes, Grey's Anatomy creator. She worked on the original Crossroads, wrote it. Bring her back. I mean, now, my word, you could put her name on the poster and get 5 more million probably. Or if it goes to streaming, you get, what, 5 billion more views or something. I don't know how that works. But yeah, I do think... I think there's something there. I think Paramount Plus ought to really consider this. After everything we've seen in the news these past few years, to get Britney to headline a Crossroads sequel, I think would have a lot of potential as a good movie. And from the business side of things, sure, it'd probably get a whole lot of eyes too. What do you think? Would you watch a Crossroads sequel? Would you be interested in that? Let me know in the comments below. What did you think of the original Crossroads? Maybe you saw it in 2002. Also, let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Link in the description. Until next time, this has been Josh with Movies Please. Thanks for watching.